Hello, twisted humans.
Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alecia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked.
Hello and welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast. This is episode 219, which feels wild to me that we just keep getting up there. Almost like that's how numbers work. But today I have a case out of Ohio for you, and I'm not really sure. It's not really a case, it's a place, and it's basically like a huge urban legend compilation. So I don't really know what category it fits into. I'm going to call it a conspiracy, though.
That works.
But before we get into that, Sierra, do you have a fun fact for me?
My fun fact is a little spooky-ish because it's always Halloween in my soul. But it's, I wanted to cover this when we were doing dress-up cases, except I just could not find enough information. I know there's more information than this fun fact is going to tell, but there just wasn't enough for a whole episode. Anyway, let me just get to it. There was a all-female Soviet air unit, like Air Force, during World War II. They were the 588th Night Bomber Regiment, and these women would wait until the dead of night and fly really slow, really low airplanes over top of German bases and bomb them. They would literally push a bomb off of the plane, and they could only do it at night because the planes were so slow and so low, they would be seen if, it was daytime and caught. The Germans...
I feel like this is a job that only women could do.
Yeah. The Germans named them night witches because, for one, it was mostly an urban legend until they came and bombed you. And then what? You're not alive to tell about it, okay? And for two, it is told that the sound of the really slow, really low plane sounded like a broomstick going through the air.
You know, when you said really slow and really low and flying, I was hoping you were going to say broomsticks, even though I knew that that's not where you were going. So this works. It's a great nickname.
It's so cool. The Night Witches?
Yes.
That's amazing.
I think that should be like a band name or like a name of like a tarot reading company.
Yes.
I don't know. Something.
I hope
it needs to be utilized.
I hope they have more information about the Night Witches at the World War II Museum in New Orleans.
They might. They just might. They just might. And if there isn't, we're going to leave something about them.
Yes. Did you know? Check out episode 219.
Just start changing displays. They're like, ma'am, you don't work.
We're actually going to do a live show at the World War II Museum in New Orleans.
Setting up microphones. They're like, what the fuck are you doing?
We're an exhibit. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
What
fine.
is your fun fact?
My fun fact is not nearly as epic, but it is pretty cool, and it is about nature and animals that we love. Our side podcast, apparently, and it is that the lyrebird can mimic almost any sound that it hears, including like human sounds, like chainsaws, vehicles, etc. And if you look up this particular bird, it has the most incredible tail I've ever seen in my life. It is so pretty. It's all black. And then the tail is like orange and black and blue. And like, it's crazy. Anyways.
How do you spell lyre?
L-Y-R-E. And then bird. All one word.
Because L-I-A-R, knowing that it can mimic everything, it's a fucking liar.
It is a liar.
Hilarious.
I know. That's an opposite. That is an opportunity missed in whoever named this bird.
It really is.
But yeah, it's also a way of like keeping it safe and protected because, it can just mimic whatever animals are around it. It's so pretty.
There you go.
I'm obsessed with it. Obsessed.
It's like a emo peacock.
Totally an emo peacock.
That's amazing.
And it fits right into the vibes of this episode.
Yay.
So, before we get into this episode, Sierra's got a bone to pick with me, apparently,
I
about
do.
today's drink. So, today's drink choice will make sense once you know what I'm covering. But we are drinking something called the Devil's Sting Mocktail. It's specifically a hibiscus and ginger flavor, the recipe that we used, but mine is actually slightly different because I couldn't find just hibiscus or hibiscus and black currant, which was the recommended blend. So we'll see. But basically, what you're going to need is a chili syrup, which you can make on your own. I actually used a red pepper jelly instead. I cheated. And then you need that syrup, lime juice, hibiscus and black currant flavored juices, or a variety of. I have a hibiscus cherry and ginger beer ice, and then your chilies for garnish. And for my chilies, I used jalapeno because that's all I had in my house. And I haven't tried it yet, and I'm nervous. But if you wanted to booze up this recipe, I think probably a whiskey would be best, or maybe like a red wine. I'm not
I
really
used to
sure.
have a pepper flavored vodka. That might go good too.
Ooh, there you go. There you go. Okay. Ideas for anyone that wants to booze it up. I can't drink right now, so I'm not. Uh, but I'm gonna try it with Sierra after she yells at me, I think. Question mark.
So, I also could not find hibiscus and black currant flavors. What I did is struggled, but I I got a black cherry flavored pop culture soda, and I got a hibiscus tea bag, and I let the hibiscus tea bag soak in the pop culture black cherry flavor drink. And then when I did my ginger beer on top, I still had from last week some of the cinnamon infused ginger beer. So the cinnamon flavor is in there also. So it's cinnamon infused ginger beer with the
You
black cherry
brilliant
and the
bitch.
hibiscus tea. However, my issue, the drink is good. My issue is yesterday I made the pepper syrup,
Syrup.
and
Oh no.
all I did, I swear to you, the only thing I did was after I made it, I dipped my finger in and I licked. I just wanted to know what it tastes like. And TMI, but just that lick of my finger gave me spicy butt. And I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't even eat anything spicy. I licked my finger. Okay, not to mention I used green chilies, fresh green chilies.
Like jalapeno green chilies or like
Like
habaneros?
green chiles. Like they look
Oh,
like
okay.
jalapenos, but
Gotcha,
they're really
gotcha.
long.
Gotcha.
Um, and when I cut them up to put them into the syrup, I just had spicy all over my hands all day yesterday. So I'm
It
really
works.
nervous about drinking this because I don't want to have spicy butt.
Well,
Um,
if
but
maybe we'll both have spicy butt tomorrow. I'll let you know.
it is tasty. It does work. The flavors are really good together.
Well, because I love a
It
spicy
might be too much
margarita.
spice. Yeah,
So I
I
was thinking
think
that's
if
where
I
this
would
was
have done
going.
the jelly, it would have been a
Mhm.
little more sweet than spicy.
Mhm.
It's good. It's just I don't like it in my
She's
digestive
nervous.
tract.
She's
Yeah.
nervous, everybody. Well, no pressure to drink it. You did make it, and that's half the battle. But,
Yeah.
I'm actually pleasantly surprised with
It
it.
is really good.
Yeah, and I'm pleasantly surprised. We are gonna get right into this week's episode, though, after this quick break. Okay, okay, let's get into this. I'm excited. In Ohio's no, that's not how you say words. Ohio's Cuyahoga Valley, a little town called Boston was abandoned in the 1970s. While the state tore down most of the old buildings to make way for new development and a national park, a little pocket of buildings remains. But it's no longer known as Boston. It's been given the nickname Helltown. Have you
Whoa.
heard of this?
Um,
Being
I
from
remember
Ohio.
Helltown and Boston do not sound familiar. However, I do know that at one point, I think it was the Cuyahoga River caught on fire. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Oh, okay.
But that seems
No, a river
to
caught on fire near there.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's just adding proof to the spooky pudding I'm about to tell
Yeah.
you. Just what happened to this town that led to the abandonment and eventual destruction? Why did the former Boston Village take on such a dark and foreboding name? There are numerous theories about what happened to Helltown, Ohio, so let's get into it. Boston Village was first colonized by Alfred Woolcock and his friend James Stanford from Connecticut in 1905. And by 1905, I mean 1805. The settlers returned the next year to break ground, and they built a cabin to stay in. This would be on the future site of the Boston Cemetery, fun fact. On January 15th, 1811, the township was official. It was first known as Range 11, then Town 4 of the Connecticut Western Reserve, and then finally Boston Village or Boston Township. The new name of the town was inspired by Boston, Massachusetts,
Ew,
as a
why?
sort of testament to the fact that most of the settlers hailed from New England, and they were hopeful that would be just as great of a city. I know. In its early years, the township's economy was bolstered by the construction of the Ohio and Erie Canal between 1825 and 1827. It provided vital transportation for people and various goods to come in and out of the town. And ultimately, this led to economic growth in the region, drawing in more farmers and workers and all that good stuff to build a town. It was a big part of agricultural products going to places like Cleveland and Akron. This little village was starting to live up to its name. Then, by the 1850s, the village became the largest around and the most profitable. The region saw another major change in 1880 upon the arrival of the Valley Railway, which marked the start of another notable shift from canal transport to rail transport. And while this did open some new opportunities, it also contributed to a decline of the canal-based transport, which was a major factor in Boston's economy. But this decline only continued in the 20th century, and then a flood in 1913 dealt a significant blow, and then thus it became like non-operable anymore and is also abandoned and in this forest and kind of creepy now, this canal. Like the bridge over it, rather.
Mm-hmm.
By the 1920s, local quarries ceased operations in large part thanks to the rising availability of concrete. And eventually, in the 1970s, the American government decided that the land that Boston was placed on would be suitable for the Cuyahoga Valley National Recreation Area, which was later named the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. So, this national park soon brought all the properties of the town's residents, leading to the locals having to leave their homes. Their homes were boarded up and eventually abandoned altogether. So, this seems to be kind of a par for the course story in American history.
Yeah.
But there were ominous rumors that began to swirl around the specific town's decline, including the moniker Helltown. So, what were those rumors exactly? Like I said, they were kind of just a collection of urban legends. Before major demolitions in 2016, visitors to Helltown were greeted with an eerie sight, an abandoned town where life had seemingly vanished out of thin air. The first and most noticeable was the Presbyterian church that once stood tall above the town. The church was adorned, shockingly, with upside-down crosses, something not typical of most churches and something considered to be evil. This strange occurrence led rumors to the town locals not being people of God, but being satanic worshippers who stalked the streets and attempted to lure people in for sacrifice. But in truth, the church was designed in a Gothic revival style, which is very common to display upside-down churches. The more you know, but still a little creepy. Another abandoned fixation point in the town is an old school bus that has been left to rust.
That's fun.
It's very like Marilyn Manson feel. But the chilling image of the empty school bus led to further speculation that something terrible had happened in the Boston township. Ghost hunters even claimed that they had seen spirits of school children residing within the bus at certain points. According to legend, These children were all murdered by a serial killer, and their spirits never left the vehicle. Another theory is that a horrible bus accident occurred, leading to the deaths of everybody on board.
That one's a little more understandable.
Yeah. If you peer through the bus's windows, according to legend, you can see the ghosts of the children inside.
I love that, only because, I brag a lot about how Ohio is the spookiest state. I don't care what
Mhm.
other people say. When they write down the number of scary haunted attractions per state in the month of October, Ohio has the most. I don't know why they have the most, but they do. Okay, we fucking like spooky shit. One of the things that Ohioans love is a haunted hayride or a haunted bus ride. They literally like cut the ceiling off of a bus, load people onto it, and drive through like the woods, and people jump out and scare you or hop on the bus and get in your face with chainsaws and shit. I love it. It's amazing.
So I'm not shocked that this place exists then.
Yeah. The bus adds to it.
Absolutely. Once again, however, the truth is far less terrifying. In actuality, the bus was merely abandoned like other buildings and structures in town, and there is no written proof of such a tragedy occurring. While there was a family living in the bus at one point, it's only because their house was being renovated and they had nowhere else to go. But they definitely didn't help with these spooky rumors. There was also a legend about a crybaby bridge in Helltown.
Mm.
According to the lore, if you left your car on the bridge, you would return to find it covered in dust and children's footprints. And if you listen closely, some said you could hear the cries of a baby who was reportedly thrown from the bridge. Of
We got those
course,
all
there are
over Ohio.
similar, yeah, I was going to say, of course, there are similar legends about crybaby bridges throughout the US and even Ohio. So this particular bridge was part of a larger legend, we think. But it is spooky, and who's to say these legends come from somewhere? There's also an ominous rumor about a possible chemical spill that infested Helltown, leading to a creature that locals called the Peninsula Python. The tale goes that an ordinary snake suddenly grew to a massive size and terrorized the region of Helltown, rumored to be a mutant from the toxic chemical spill. The creature has never been observed or never been caught, but the lack of evidence has not stopped some people from speculating that this is a real reason why Boston, Ohio was abandoned all of a sudden, and that the
They're
government
being
wanted to cover
hunted.
up a disaster. Yeah, they're like, oh, this horrible thing happened. We'll just let it get overgrown for the next 40 years before
Yeah.
we decide what we're going to do with it.
Gosh.
And it wouldn't be the first time that the government wanted to cover up anything mysterious. In reality, there were toxic chemicals uncovered in the nearby Kregisi dump, but this discovery was made in the 1980s, about a decade after Boston, Ohio was abandoned. It's not unreasonable to think, though, that those chemicals sat there for 10 years beforehand. Just saying. Just because the timeline is after doesn't mean it doesn't fit. And let's face it, Ohio needs another cryptid.
Yeah. I mean, there are plenty, but another would be fun.
The Peninsula Python. Lastly, there are legends about a place in Helltown known as the End of the World. The End of the World was a section of Stanford Road with a steep incline and a sudden drop down, almost giving the impression that cars were driving over a cliff. Some have claimed that supernatural occurrences happen on this road often, and others have claimed that the road is evil and causes deadly car crashes. One could argue that that's true, but one could also argue that steep roads and fast drivers equals not so good.
Yeah.
Helltown's spooky name was likely the result of, rather than the source of all of these urban legends. But the residents of the Boston Township in Ohio were forced to abandon their homes. That much is true, by the federal government. But not because of a chemical spill or a supernatural cover-up, that we can prove anyway. The locals who now reside in what is now part of the Cuyahoga
Mhm.
Cuyahoga Valley National Park had no choice but to leave after the government bought their properties. And it's likely that these former residents became even more resentful when they fell behind on this ambitious project of theirs and just let the town sit deserted for decades before most of it was finally before most of it was finally demolished as planned. I get it, it is kind of a slap in the face. And in a gross way, one local made his feelings very clear by spray painting a message on one of the town's abandoned homes saying, "Now we know how the Indians felt." Not an appropriate comparison, sir, at all,
What the
especially
hell?
considering these lands were originally Native American lands, so fuck off. But I get why they would be pissed off. They're forced to leave and then they didn't do anything with it. To clarify, Helltown has two main cemeteries, the Boston Cemetery that I mentioned earlier and the Mater della Rosa. But the Mater della Rosa often goes by a different name, which we will get to. But the Boston Cemetery is where this little town started with our founders. The most cited ghost there is of a man who sits on a bench and just stares blankly, which is really just haunting. And it's also haunting because there are no benches in the cemetery at all. So the bench
Maybe,
is part of his lore.
yeah, the bench is also ghost. Maybe it's like a moment stuck in time and he's just like overlooking like the city he loves, even though it's not there anymore.
Yes,
How
a
sad.
lot of people believe that it could be one of the town's founders because of the location.
Yeah.
It's also noted that there are a large number of children's graves from the 1800s within about 10 years of each other, which is deeply unsettling. But it's probably noted in the cemetery information because of the whole lore surrounding the school bus.
Right.
But
But I mean, did they have school buses in the 1800s? I
no,
wonder.
no. Something terrible happened, but I think it might have just been tuberculosis, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
There is also a home distant from the cemetery in the woods, abandoned from Boston days, and visitors have reported seeing the lights on shining from deep within the woods, which is also unsettling.
That reminds me of something that I have to say on Bitch and Wine.
Yeah, okay.
Lights in the woods. Okay.
Oh, gross. Okay, I'm gonna remember that. And the Mater della Rosa Cemetery often goes by the term Mother of Sorrows. It refers to the Virgin Mary and symbolizes her grief and suffering. Because the cemetery was just abandoned in the middle of Helltown, there's only about 25 graves. Many have been taken over by nature. But it also appears that some of the headstones are so old that they look like they've been melting, which a lot of people point to because of the whole chemical spill theory.
Mm.
But it is still creepy, and it is also oddly beautiful when you see photos of this. So naturally, Sierra and I have to add Helltown to our list of places to visit. It helps that it's in the middle of a national park. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's our rubber arms, but that is my kind of conspiracy, kind of long urban legend story of Helltown in Ohio.
I love that.
Had you ever heard of it?
I haven't actually
Oh
heard of
my god.
Helltown. Also, this story reminds me of the place in Pennsylvania where like the ground is on fire and everybody just had to leave.
Yes!
Yeah.
But see, like
Gives me same
that
vibes. But
but
at
and
least
then
there
you
the
said
ground
that
is on fire.
The Cuyahoga River.
Cuyahoga, yeah.
Cuyahoga. See, I'm gonna keep saying it wrong. She reminded me so many times, guys. I don't know why I overthink, like, the way that you pronounce words, but I do.
It was in 1969, a small but significant event that occurred when sparks from a train ignited an oil slick on a heavily polluted river.
Hmm. So it's dirty. I wonder if
Very
it's
dirty.
chemical spill related.
Well, says this was in 1969, and it says the national media coverage sparked public outrage and gave a symbolic boost to the growing environmental movement,
Hmm.
directly leading to the creation of the EPA and Clean Water Act. Thank you, Cuyahoga River Fire,
I
for
guess so.
fixing stuff, I guess.
I guess. Well, that was part of why they said that they wanted to tear down this town is so that they could make way for a national park, but can you see any of these?
I can. They're kind of far away, but I
Okay,
can see
so
them.
this is the sign. It was founded in 1869, and
It's
there's
so
25
old.
graves throughout here.
Yeah.
So there's like when you walk. Oh, I guess they got
Oh
a
my
new sign.
gosh. It's so green and pretty.
I know. It's literally in the middle of a forest. Hold on.
Yeah.
But like that's the biggest headstone in there. And it's
Wow.
just like creepy and weird that there's just like 20 graves in this little section of woods. It's that's the
Listen, if I
cemetery.
owned a little section of woods, I would totally put 20 random graves there.
I mean, if you owned this section of woods, like your house was there, like could you move the graves? No. Remember when you
No.
and I were looking at that house that came with its own little
Yeah.
cemetery?
Yeah.
It's like, well, sorry. I know you didn't exactly ask for this, but
Hey, if the land is
just kind of
registered as a
getting it anyway.
cemetery, even if a house is there, you don't have to pay taxes on it. So everybody should live at the cemetery. You don't have to pay land tax.
There you go. But yeah, I just really want to go. I want to go to Helltown.
Pretty
And that
cool.
is why I chose the drink that I did, if that
Does
wasn't
the
obvious,
is
guys.
the Town sign real, or is that
No,
okay?
that was definitely placed there as
Yeah.
like a way to add to the lore because it is still a national park. And a lot of like paranormal investigators have visited it at night. I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos and I didn't see anything creepy happen other than it
Hmm.
just being creepy in there.
Yeah.
But a lot of them got in trouble because national parks
Yeah.
technically have hours, and because it's
Yeah.
so deep within there, they like got in trouble for trespassing. So I don't know. It's a whole thing. So
Goodness.
um as we learned from Sam and Colby, sometimes it's just not worth it.
Sometimes it's not, and sometimes it is.
But maybe you and I can go one day and just take fun photos. If you have ever visited there or if you live in that area, let us know because we need to hear if you know of any creepy stories that happen there. And yeah, that's all I got. And my something happy that I really want to just announce is that it's Wicked Day that we are recording this. It is November 21st, and I'm going to go see For Good. I've had to ignore our friend Amanda Goodness all day because she went at 9 o'clock this morning, and I am just so excited. So
Oh my gosh.
I'm naturally probably going to ugly cry, and in preparation, I bought a Tony Chocolonely Everything Chocolate Bar, which is my new favorite
Yum.
chocolate bars.
Yeah.
And they have pretzels and like what feels like little score bites and nuts and caramel. They're so good. Anyways, yeah. And Brianna's gonna watch me ugly cry next to her and judge me
Nice.
again, but I'm excited for it. Do you have anything exciting to share?
It's American Thanksgiving week next week, and I am traveling.
Ooh,
That'll be fun.
where are you traveling?
I am going to Talladega, Alabama. We're going to ride four-wheelers.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Ah, I love that. And if you like this episode, please go leave us 5 stars wherever you are listening. It is very nice, and we like to know you like the show. And we will see you next week for Sierra's.
I don't know yet.
Okay, something to be determined episode. And in the meantime, keep
Keep it
twisted.
twisted.
Twisted and Uncorked is hosted and produced by Sierra Zorn and Alecia Watson. If you like the show, don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can check out all things Twisted on our website, twistedanduncorked.com, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode.